Good evening and welcome back to Trinity Tens. I have been missing in action. I know I had to take a break, you guys. I had some things going on in my personal life and of course during the grassroots stage of Trinity Professional Group. Those things started to take a toll, you know, when you're a small business owner trying to strike out and do things but still having to work and having your child and things like that. It just becomes a lot. But I am back and better than ever. I am determined to be consistent. Actually, that's going to be something I talk about on today's video, where you have to account for your deficits and even put people in place to mitigate those deficits, or at least try and fill the spot at a 80% as opposed to your natural 20%, right? So that's what we're going to talk about on today's videos. I am actually super excited to be back. I've missed it. I realized that, you know what, this is my purpose. This is my passion. I know that there's something great that's going to come out of this. So my consistency and lack of procrastination are going to be what it takes to get me there. And I'm really going to go over those today and how they impact me in my business, or how they impact me in my content, or reaching out to possible customers or clients. And also how it may be preventing me from getting great connections or whatever. But everything that you have a deficit in, there is a remedy, you guys. But if you're never honest about that deficit, you can't get it fixed. You can't get it filled by someone who may be better in that area than you are. All right. So I'm super excited to be back. I actually bought this book. I hope it doesn't come out like backwards, but it's called The 12-Week Year. I bought this because of my procrastination. I need to put myself on a timeline. I need to put myself on a stressor, I guess, like give myself some healthy stress where I need to accomplish my goals and get things done that I need to have done. So we're going to do that in 12 weeks as opposed to the whole year. And I think we have about 12 weeks left to, you know, really get some things done. And of course, there are those goals that are accomplished sooner than those 12 weeks, which is even better. So, like I said, on today's video, I'm going to talk about accounting for deficits. Your deficits can be things like, for me, procrastination, lack of consistency. For someone else, their ego could even be their deficit. Their pride could be their deficit. Their need to be needed could be their deficit, right? When you're growing a company or seek to expand to another level, you can't be in every place that's crucial at the same time. You have to have people in those areas who you trust, or at least know are effective in their role based on their job description or whatever it is. You know they're effective in that area enough for you to step away and build bigger things. So in accounting for your deficit, I think that most people don't want to admit they have a deficit, okay? For me, like I said, I'm very clear on who I am. I'm very clear on how I am. I'm very clear on why I started my business. I'm very clear on who I want to help in my business, right? So that clarity allows me to account for things like I'm not great with branding yet. I'm not great with the social media aspect of like trying to up my reels and ads on Facebook or ads on Instagram. Like I've boosted a post or two, but I'm not like an aficionado at those things, right? So accounting for those deficits will let me know, like, hey, if I am to hire an associate to come and work with me, not only do I need them to possibly be a like a secretary or an assistant, but I'll also need them to be pretty savvy when it comes to tech. I would need them to be pretty savvy when it comes to keeping me on a time schedule or keeping me to an obligation to make sure that I get those things done, right? I kind of need an accountability partner. So when I hire someone in that role, they're going to account for a couple of deficits that I have that can actually next level us, right? But had I not admitted the fact that I have an issue with consistency, had I not admitted the fact that I procrastinate, had I not admitted the fact that I need deadlines, I would be in a place where I'm consistently failing. I'm consistently falling in the same pit time after time after time because I haven't been honest. And in my lack of honesty, I haven't been able to put someone there. I haven't been able to kind of build a bridge over that troubled water, so to speak. And I keep falling into it, or I keep losing money because I'm not accounting for my deficit. And as business owners, it is hard. Trust me, I get it. You built this thing from the ground up. It is your baby. it is your passion, you believe in it so strongly, and you know exactly where you want it to go. You know exactly how big you want it to get, right? And then involving someone else, sometimes you have to kind of share that idea or let them into something that's far more intimate than you ever imagined. Because when you bring your dreams to reality, when you bring your purpose to the forefront and to fruition, it really is an intimate process. It is something that is spiritual, because even though we're all human beings, we all have different purposes. We all have different ways that we're supposed to impact the earth that God created, right? So in involving someone in that, you have to be a bit vulnerable, and make sure that you're clear on what qualities you need in order to allow for that vulnerability, or to allow for you to say, I need help in this area. You don't have to be like crying on their shoulder, like, oh my God, I'm not consistent. Oh my God, I procrastinate. Not like that. But you need to be able to let them know where they're going to fill that role, how you expect them to fill that role, and then how it's going to benefit you and the company based on them filling that role for you, or filling in that deficit for you. So again, you have to get your pride out of the way, you guys. Of course, like I said, entrepreneurship is your baby, but in order for your baby to grow, you're going to have to give it some formula. You're going to have to give it some veggies. You're going to have to give it some things that you may not like in the beginning, because you need it to hit the next level, right? And with me at Trinity Professional Group, of course, my thing is scaling. My thing is systems, SOPs, procedures, and also like with the research and development aspect, I don't want you to just launch out there with deficits. I don't want you to have your dream and not account for those deficits, because if you don't account for your deficits in your dream, when certain things hit you or when certain roadblocks come, they can really knock the wind out of you, you guys. For me personally, the amount of time it's taken me to get consistent clientele really knocked the wind out of me. That may be the reason for my long break that I took, but you have to get back in it. You have to get back in the fight. And getting back in the fight means you go back in wiser. You go back in with the idea that, okay, this didn't work last time. Let me fix it. This is where I'm missing the fervor that I need, that fire that I need, right? This is the area that I'm missing it. So let me make sure I account for it this time and put it in there. Let me cover that deficit. Let me cover that troubled water so I can cross over and get to my next level. But you have to be honest. Again, you have to be honest. It's not always pretty, but it's a need. Like one of my favorite people, Richard Branson, I think that's his name, Richard Branson or Russell Branson, one of the two. He is the founder of Virgin. And of course he has planes, he has cruise ships and all these things, and he's a billionaire. He has satellites and spaceships and all that stuff. But he has a learning disorder where he can't quite keep up with math. He can't conceptualize math. But he hired someone in that spot, and that person, of course, has helped him become a billionaire. And of course, there's a team, undergirding the person that he hired initially and everything like that, because now he's a billionaire. But at the same time, he had to admit that deficit. He had to let them know, like, hey, I'm smart, I'm business savvy, I can start a business, I have the ideas, I have the drive, I have that fervor. But to account for my business, or to ask for funds to support my business, or to go to a bank, or to keep my books, or to know how much revenue I'm bringing in versus how much overhead is going out, I don't have that capability. And we all know that that's like the basis to a business, which takes a lot of vulnerability. That takes a lot of trust. But he did it, and now he's a billionaire. So don't let your pride keep you at a place where you have a known deficit, but because you're so prideful, you don't want to put anybody in that spot. Because you're so prideful, you don't want anybody to, really, it's not even putting them in the spot. You don't want them to get the credit. You don't want them to get the credit for your baby. You don't want them to get the credit for things now going well, or for things going more smoothly since they've been there. And that's not what it's about, you guys. There are so many bigger fish to fry when it comes to a business, as opposed to accolades and things like that. You're always going to be the owner, you're always going to be the founder, but you need good people in order to succeed. You guys, you have to have a team. If you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you go together. And you need a team to help you fill your deficits, okay? All right, so I will see you all on Thursday for part 2 of this video with filling our deficits. I really want to drive this point home, because with us hitting that almost the last quarter of the year, we really need to know what we're going into and how we're doing it, and then also see about seeking out people who can really help us avoid falling into the same pits again next year or again in the next month, right? So take your pride out of it, and I'll see you on Thursday's video. Fredrina with Trinity Professional Group. Bye, guys.